Welcome to Extracurricular. I'm your co-host, Eddie Geller.
And I am your other co-host, Stephanie Vanos. Here unofficially, as always, also an Orange County School Board member.
So beautifully done.
I tried.
Well, it seemed effortless. If you were trying, you didn't show it.
Well, sometimes I strive to be that person, but not always.
How are you feeling today? I'm sorry, I don't ask you that enough.
No, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little old. I actually I normally we're gonna talk running for a second here.
Okay. Brace yourself, folks.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Well, you always know the runners in your life because they always talk about it. So that's one thing. No, I did my long run today, which is not normal for me. I usually go Saturday with my long run partner, but I had
Shouts
to go.
Jill.
Right, but I had to go this morning by myself. The good news is I had a good playlist. The bad news is I'm old and my hips hurt, and it's ew. I hate it.
My hips have hurt a lot over the last few years, and I think that's just life. You know, we gotta do our PT. We gotta do our exercise. This is not me, lecturing to you. I've been very bad at my PT exercise, but I don't think that makes you old if you have some hip pain.
Well, I just want to say for everyone out there that we should not accept not feeling great. There's things you can do to fix it. And so we don't just say our back is going to hurt forever, or we have bad knees, or we have this. We're going to fix the problems, and we can. And I believe that. So I needed to say that. So I'm going to fix my hip, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. How far are you willing to go?
I'm just saying, if I need to be doing my PT exercises 3 times a day, I'm doing them 3 times a day.
What about our time? What about our quality time?
Well, I can do exercises while we're watching our Succession.
We are doing a Succession rewatch. Well, rewatch for me. This is your first time watching it. How do you like Succession?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. They're so terrible. Every last one of them is so just like a terrible, terrible person, and I love it so much.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Please do subscribe if you are not subscribed, and also rate us to the maximum amount that someone can rate a podcast, which, again, I am told is 5 stars.
5 stars only.
5 stars only, please. Follow us on Instagram too. We're putting everything into this podcast. You mentioned to me you're going to resign your school board seat and just do the podcast full time, right?
Don't start rumors out there. I don't appreciate the rumors.
Do you want me to cut that out of the podcast?
Yes, please. We don't start over.
Okay.
We just have to keep it in. But we do, truly. And especially thank you to you, because I know nothing about audio, video type things.
But you know how to talk.
I do, but unfortunately that's all I know how to do. And sometimes I don't even know how to do that well. So you carry us, and then you also do all the editing.
No, I do the editing, but you do so much work thinking about the podcast, helping get guests. You're so wonderful on the podcast. And anyone who's listening knows that this podcast would not happen without you. So I might do some technical stuff, and I'm here to chat with you, but you are the heart and soul of this podcast.
Oh my gosh. But you're the voice everyone knows, so that's not true.
Well, because they only know me by my voice. They're like, oh, Stephanie, school board member, appearing unofficially. This is your podcast. And also there's a voice that I hear.
Oh my gosh, that's so not true.
Well, okay. Speaking of recognizing voices, we got to see some friends last night who had, and we're going to talk about our guest in a moment, but I can't steer away from this transition because we're going right into it. But we ran into some guests last night because we were at the Orange County Democratic Party Blue Bash last night. Tons of Democratic elected officials and activists and donors and all those sorts of people. Really fun time, energizing to be among people. There was also free drinks. Maybe I had a few too many. Not that I went crazy. I just didn't sleep well.
Which sometimes happens anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm not the greatest sleeper, but maybe I didn't need to have that last old fashioned.
Well, but it was fun. It was a good group of people after.
It was funny too, because we were, we had the Blue Bash, and then we went out with friend of the podcast, former guest, probably future guest, Chris Mitchell. We went to, Bar Italia in Winter Park. And it was one of those nights where, I think about if I was in my 20s, we were out till 2 a.m., but it felt so late, and it was 10:30 p.m. and we're like, oh my gosh, this is we've stayed up all night.
I was pretty tired, I have to say, but it was fun. It was a good night. It didn't have the blue dress, but that's okay.
Well, people loved your dress. People said that you had the nicest dress. I heard that.
Oh, well, there was one person who said that, and I appreciated that.
Well, I am also on podcast saying it was the nicest dress.
Okay, so too. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, do you have any other thoughts? You were on stage momentarily helping to present. You got to see a lot of friends. Anything notable from Blue Bash that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just thought it was
Anyone
great.
you want to put on blast?
No, I thought it was great. I think I was able to, one of our members of the CTA, she's super involved in so many different things. She was recognized and was able to walk her up to the stage. So that was wonderful with member Gallo. And it was just great to really recognize the people who are just kind of making the world work. And sometimes they don't get the recognition they deserve. So that was wonderful. It was a great venue. We don't always have it at the Winter Park Event Center, but that was fun. It was raining, which I could have done without, but it was a fun night. Yeah.
You know what? I love, like, because for folks who don't know, go to these kinds of events, anywhere where there's elected officials and people like know that they're there, they get recognized. You know, we want to recognize XYZ representative, yada yada. And so, like, obviously you're going to be recognized. So I'm just like waiting for your name to be called, trying to think about how I can make the most noise possible. And I think I think I have more levels to go, because I'm like, you know, I whistle and I clap and I yell, but I got to figure out how can I just be more obnoxious in my support of you when you get recognized.
Oh my gosh. Well, you did a great job. I heard you, even though I was next to you. I heard you and it was very nice. So thank you.
No, we saw some great folks. I think some future podcasts. I feel like there were like 6 people who we've had on the podcast who were there. It was very cool.
And it was great. There were not just people from Orange County. There were quite a few people that came down from Tallahassee, some people from Hillsborough County. So it was fun to see different people.
Was there anyone there that you hated? Any enemies?
Not that I'm going to say.
Okay, well, if you're Steph's enemy and you saw her last night, know that she saw you and she's keeping a scorecard. I don't know who you hate, but maybe.
Well, speaking of scorecard.
Speaking of scorecard, what was that transition? I'm sorry.
You didn't even let me finish. Speaking of scorecard, I was going to say, let's talk about, you had a holiday this week.
I didn't. Wait, how was that scorecard?
I don't, because don't you have to like keep track of like what you are, you know, atoning for? Like, do you have a list of like the all the things? I don't know. I'm not Jewish. I don't know. Tell me more.
Yeah, it was Yom Kippur this past week. Actually, I had a very unfortunate Yom Kippur experience where I was trying to go to services, and this is my first time going there, and I didn't know where it was, and I thought I was going to the right place. But then I got there and didn't see anyone, because I was like dressed up in a suit and it was raining, and it was actually, they have services at a church because they don't have a temple of their own. So I didn't see anyone. So I thought I went to the wrong place, and then I went to another place, couldn't find it. And then it turns out I had gone to the right place. I just was like maybe in the wrong area. I don't know. So I didn't actually get to go to temple, though I did fast, which is always a sort of restorative exercise. So it was a meaningful Yom Kippur.
So does the scorecard apply or does it not apply?
Do you want to ask what I am atoned for this year?
What have you atoned for this year?
I feel like maybe I could be a little less bossy. You did change your shirt before this podcast because we were both wearing the same exact color blue. And I'm often nudging you to like text someone or whatever. I feel like I could be a little bit less bossy and a little more chill. So that's something I atone for.
Well, you are breezy. I have to say, I need the nudge. I mean, and I tell, I tell people this, oh, I'm so sorry to bug you about this again. And I am actually the kind of person that does need to be bugged again. So I appreciate it.
Well, if you need to bug us, email us podcast extracurricular.
Look at that transition.
gmail.com. We're happy to be bugged. Tell us who Steph needs to text, and I will happily pass that along to her multiple times. And I think always, every year I always want to be kinder to myself and kinder to others, and always be aware of my ego, and not like I have some giant ego, but I ran for office. I'm a performer. And I think we all have an ego. And I think always being aware of that. And when we're being irrational or whatever, a lot of times it's because like our ego was hurt and we're not acting the way we should be acting. So always something, an evergreen thing to be thinking about on Yom Kippur.
For sure.
Is there anything you would like to atone for?
I don't know. Were you saying some of those things to be a suggestion to me?
No, of course not.
Every confession is an accusation.
Well, no. Okay. Well, let's.
Or you don't confess. That's the wrong religion. I
No.
guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, but every accusation is a confession.
Yeah.
So I was not
okay.
accusing you of being.
No, I kind of like every confession is an accusation. I'm going with that.
I'm gonna have to think more deeply about this one. All right.
Okay, I want to ask you about something you have coming up this week, which is super exciting.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. See, now look, I'm already being bossy. We're a few days out of Yom Kippur and I'm already trying to redirect. Well, because only once I want to talk about our guest, our wonderful guest that we had on today. Tell us, who did we have on the podcast today?
Oh, we had one of my great friends, Elly Kennedy, on.
She's so great.
She's so just a wonderful, wonderful person. I kind of met her in the political world. We are neighbors, but just the way it worked out, our kids went to different schools. So I didn't really know her that well until just a couple of years ago, but loved having her on. She's just such a joy to be around. So fun and so sweet and so thoughtful and so fun.
Yeah, she's so fun, so funny, but also so deeply involved, an amazing activist, both like inside and outside of schools. And I think she talks, I think if maybe there was a thesis, it's like, let kids be kids and let's also make sure we're seeing everyone and supporting everyone. And I just, the way, or talking about her experiences supporting schools and her takes on how we need to be, creating a space for kids to be themselves and to be who they're going to be, I thought was just so insightful, because we've had students on the podcast, but this is the first time we've had a parent talk about the school system and their own kids. So I just thought it was a really cool conversation, and she's so cool and funny.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's also helping me find a house.
And she is definitely not one of your enemies.
She's definitely not one of my enemies.
But if you are one of Steph's enemies, please email us at Podcast Extracurricular and tell us why you're so agreed with Steph. Okay,
so I do want to ask you about something you have coming up this weekend.
Finally, my ego is being served, and we can talk about something I'm doing. No, I'm very excited. So I go do shows at least once a month at this theater, the Commodore in Ybor City. I'm actually doing 2 shows this weekend. On Friday night, I'm doing Salute and Happy Days, the show we do every month that's about notable Tempeños. But on Saturday, I'm very excited for the show because it helped produce it, is we're doing a show called Mock the Block with an Instagram influencer / comedian. Her name's Brie Banasiski, an Eastern European name, I have to assume.
Thank you for the background on her name.
Well, because I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. She goes by Tampa_Brie on Instagram. She does these hilarious videos where she mocks these houses. She's a realtor. She mocks the houses that she's selling. And like mocks kind of the rich folks who would be living in these houses and selling these houses. She's very funny. She's got a big following on Instagram and TikTok, and just had this piece in the New York Times about her. So I just reached out to her and I said, hey, do you want to be part of an improv show where you tell the stories and we, the improvisers, will improvise scenes based on that? And she was down for it. And she's like such a lovely human being. I can't wait to do the show. So that is Saturday, October 11th at the Commodore Theater in Ybor. So people should check it out if you're around. I'm really excited for it.
I think it's going to be a big show. I mean, a lot of tickets already sold, so it's super exciting.
I rarely get to say this about a Commodore show, but that show is almost sold out. So people, maybe I'll repost it on our Instagram page. If you're curious, checking it out, I'll share it on our Instagram. And yeah, this was such a sloppy explanation. I don't know what happened to me.
No, it's
I'm gonna have to atone for this.
I think that's right, and I think we'll have to get Tampa Brie, because that's what we're calling her. We got to get her on the podcast.
Yeah, we got to get her on the podcast. All right, so why don't we get to our interview with Elly? She was so wonderful. I'm excited for folks to hear this one, and I'm sure they can. It's nice to interview like someone we know well and a friend. Like it's great it is really meaningful to interview like elected officials and folks we maybe don't know quite as well, but to have a friend and, compatriot on the podcast was really delightful.
I loved it too.
All right, enjoy.
Welcome to the podcast, Elly Kennedy.
Well, thank you so much.
It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
What? Sorry. You looked at me. Did I look like I was about
do
to
you
say
have?
I don't know.
something?
Did you want to say something? Do
No,
you want to say
I'm
welcome?
so-
Are you happy she's here? You're not happy
No,
she's here.
don't put
He's
words.
not. It's fine.
No, I'm so happy you're here. You're one of our favorite people. So I'm very excited for this conversation. And thank you, because I know we were supposed to have it a few weeks ago. And then I think you had to testify in front of some people.
Important
Or,
things
It's,
happen.
you know, whatever.
It was a small gig.
But here we are.
It was a small
It
gig.
was a small gig.
Okay, yeah. Go
Okay,
for it.
so I always like to start off. How do I know you? How did I meet you? And I remember a couple of years ago, my friend Christine, I think it was 2022, 2021, and there was a school board seat that was up for, it was an open seat, and we were kind of looking for someone, who'd been involved with our public schools and, really cared about public education to run. And I remember my friend Christine said, oh, Elly Kennedy might run. And I was like, who's Elly? She's like, how do you not know Elly? Like, you guys should have overlapped so many times. And like, I think we'd met before, but I didn't like really know you. So, so the first time I met you, we sat down to get coffee.
We did sit down for coffee.
And you were thinking about running for school board.
I did think about running for school board, and then I took probably only really a couple days, which in hindsight was probably a bad idea. But working full time and realizing what you're up against, especially when you're up against a lot of lie, and a lot of just hours that I would miss in the day from working and being a mom, I decided not to do it.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight was probably the wrong decision to make. But the level of, to not put you in a weird position, but the level of attack that came after me even saying I was thinking about it, the level of attack to my child, I was like, oof,
Oh my gosh.
I'm really glad that I probably didn't do that.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Also,
Yeah.
don't worry about putting Steph in a weird position. That's what this podcast
I mean,
is about.
I never think about putting like any position I put anybody in, but yeah, I mean the level of attack that came, predominantly to my child after the fact. I know that stuff is out there, but I'd never think, especially if it came against me, I would totally be like, oh yeah, that was true. I did that. But my kid, like, nah, she didn't do that.
Oh,
That's terrible.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
it's a sad level of affairs where children are getting dragged into
big people stuff.
to big people stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, that story, especially in, 2022, that is not rare. I mean, I had visited a couple of other counties and other things happened where someone filed to run for school board and then their children were bullied on the bus, or
Oh my God.
someone filed to run for school board. I think this was in Citrus County, and like a pickup truck just, with some, intimidating flags and things on the, pulled right up into their front yard while the kids were playing out in the front yard.
Right.
And the people ended up just withdrawing and not running for office. And that's just awful.
Yeah, because
Scary.
the one thing is if it happens to me, it's one thing, but when it happens to my kid, like that to me is like our children should be off limits from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I made the mistake of pulling people's signs out of easements, which is illegal, and I actually saved you $50 a sign. But then the attacks just got even weirder, and I was like, this we're not going to do this. So I'm like, I don't think I'm a people pleaser in life. So like I don't know that seat didn't need that person that was just going to say, I'll do whatever, bullshit bidding is going to put money in my pocket. Because the bathroom brigade was real weird for that. And like making up lies about the school system in general.
Can you, just for folks who don't know, when you say bathroom brigade?
The people that think that there's like litter boxes in the bathrooms and, trans kids in bathrooms, like those kids want to just get through their day,
Right.
Let alone making up these crazy stories, usually all having to do with the bathrooms. I think the biggest problem in the bathrooms is probably vaping, and I think that like there's a pretty easy solution to that if the hallway smells like cotton candy. But I think people that don't have their kids in public schools will make up and believe whatever they want to fit the narrative that they need to either win or get ahead.
Well, let's talk about I know you've been so involved in our schools. I mean, you're truly like volunteer of the, I don't know, decade, I guess at this point. Decade
probably
plus?
not true. Yeah, probably not true. I did win of the year once.
Oh, really?
When I started a food pantry. Yeah.
Oh, that's
wait,
awesome.
So, tell us about that. Was that in your Lewes Elementary School?
That was at Lewes Elementary School. There used to be a company called Love Pantry. Our school didn't recognize any need. Our first year out, we had 77 families that we were serving consistently. And, it didn't necessarily grow from there because our district lines changed quite a bit. But it was always good to know that, like, if there was a family in need, especially, like, we've had a lot of weird things happen that, like, historically hadn't happened all the time. Like, we had families come in from Ukraine. We had families come in from Puerto Rico. We had families, we were having families come in from Venezuela when there was unrest. Like, we were trying to fill those gaps, and we kind of always knew, like, we had students that were going to consistently use it, but there were families that were just like, hey, we just need help for a minute. So we were there for the minute and we were there for the long run. So, and it's nice that the pantry is still there. It's changed because Love Pantry doesn't exist anymore, but it's kind of similar to the pantry that is run out of the high school now.
Okay. So how did you go about starting that? I mean, I know you, so it seemed like you saw there was a need and you saw that wasn't really being addressed. So what did you do?
I am a person who I like a relationship. So I always wanted to have a relationship in the school, and I knew it was a 9-year run. So even if I didn't know the top people, I was like, I'm going to have a relationship with this person and this person and this person. And at a PTA meeting or PTSA meeting, the registrar was talking about something having to do with need. And she had said there, through previous administration, that need was never recognized. And that was a 25-year longevity of administration. And she's like, yeah, I have food hidden all over the school for kids that need it. And I was like, well, there's got to be a better way. So found the company. I get very fixated on things. So, like, I started researching, like, how can we do this in a small way? I stood up in front of the PTA and asked for $2,000 for the year to be budgeted. I was told no when the PTA sat on, at that time, $116,000
Whoa.
in their budget, and I was told no.
Wait, okay, why?
Because it doesn't fit the reputation of the school.
It's so funny you talk about that because we just had this conversation because we were at Second Harvest last week doing a podcast talking about this same exact thing. Steph, do you want to?
Yeah, and then that's why I was asking because the high school that I grew up in wanted to start a food pantry a couple of years ago, and the community was like very against it. Yeah, and it was because they didn't want to recognize. I don't know. They didn't want to recognize that that problem existed at the school.
I mean, we put these kids in uniforms. We send them to school every day. Yeah. The one thing, like, shoes and sweatshirts are an easy way to tell who has and who doesn't have. Backpacks are an easy way to tell who has and who doesn't have. But they said no. I went directly to the principal, who I did not have a relationship with. The registrar was really the one that was going to bat for me. And I was like, you can't have $116,000 and say that this won't touch potentially every kid in the school. So I will always say, and I hate saying, like, I'm not somebody who holds a grudge, but I am somebody who doesn't forget. So begrudgingly, I was given $2,000. And I started it, and we asked for donated backpacks. Scott, my husband, asked for people to bring used backpacks to his shop that was in Fern Creek, because we were, at that point, our business was over there. So we were asking for, like, snacks and stuff to be dropped off because they always had the weekend packs. Okay. And our friends had gone there. So, and that school doesn't exist anymore. But it was, the reputation was just we didn't need the help. But the weird part is my first year there, like, you say you don't have a need, but there's 80 kids on a holiday list. So it's like the need is, like, the kids who need help at the holidays really need help in April, May, June, July, and August as well. Like, so that's it. It probably didn't help with my friendships, but that's okay because those weren't, those groups aren't going to be my friends anyway. But yeah, I was mortified that we had $116,000 and they started to say no. And then when we took it to the vote at the PTA meeting, the PTA voted yes, and the principal at that point had my back as well. So that was cool.
That's awesome. Thank you. I mean, their attitude is not so awesome, but the work you did.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I get it. Like they built, they built this place with this reputation, but what they see is what they see. And it's so dumb, but it's like if you're not like you're only seeing, especially when they're little, like we're inviting everyone to birthday parties, but you're only seeing the people that show up. So you don't have the relationships with these families, and maybe you don't see the need because everybody's bringing like this is stupid, and you might relate, but like I never know now like what's an appropriate birthday gift because is it $50? Like is it just I hand you $100? Because not everybody can do it, but I feel like that's what everybody does.
I'm sorry to all of my children's friends because I have not been giving the appropriate birthday gifts.
What have you been giving?
I literally, like, I just don't know what to get. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but again, like we only know who we're seeing. We only know who we're inviting when it comes to our children and their friends. So like we always tried to be very inclusive, even if it was gender specific, but we got into a terrible habit of like 3 and 4 birthday parties to make sure everyone was included in a separate space even. Wow. Which was dumb, but we only have one kid. And I was like, maybe we're doing this wrong. Maybe we're doing it right. But you still only have the relationship with the people that you're seeing. So I get where their mind was that we don't need it, especially when you really are surrounded by the illusion of wealth. Like when you see the houses and you see the cars and you see the trips. Social media sucks for that because it's like, why aren't we going to Europe? We put in a fence. So yeah, like.
But it was a European fence.
Yeah, it was a fancy European vinyl fence. But yeah, like I think we only see what we see because that's what's in front of us.
I want to pull back for a second. This isn't exactly what we had outlined or whatever, but like, what do you feel like is your theory of the case? Like it seems like you've done a lot of this work. Like, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Like, we're just missing a lot of students. We're underserving students. I don't know. I would be curious to hear more about how you think about why you do what you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do think we're missing a lot, but I think we're missing a lot because kids are embarrassed. Kids don't ever want to say like they need help. Social media, is what it is, and you see like the difference between the haves and the have-nots, and I do think we're missing a lot. Even and I will say everybody's trying. But what kid do you know that's going to raise their hand and say, I do sleep in my car, or we do live in a hotel, or there have been moments of, and I think COVID showed a lot of cracks. And I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think maybe the county has some pretty good data on what they lost during that. But I think we're still missing some people because I don't think people inherently want to ask for help. And I also think that we've like politicized help so much that it's hard to get it. Yeah. And it's like, why bother trying? Yeah, I'll never understand. Like, I'll never understand the people that argue against like free lunch at school, free breakfast at school, free dinner at school. Yeah. Like, I am proud of Orange County for always like making that a priority because kids lose a lot of education when they're hungry.
Yeah, no,
absolutely,
for sure. So now your daughter is in high school.
She's in high school. She's done it.
Congratulations.
We got there. Yeah, we made it.
And are you involved with the pantry at the high school?
I am involved with the pantry at the high school.
Do you notice anything different, or has it been a different like reception, or I feel like that pantry has been strong for a couple of years.
That pantry has been strong for a couple of years. I'm doing a little bit differently now where it's set up like a grocery store. So kids just come get what they want. we were open yesterday morning. They did the clothing shopping as well. So like family, like just going in, it's a grocery store. Take what you'll eat is really like my, because I can put spaghetti in 15 bags, but it doesn't mean people like it or want it or will eat it. Mm-hmm. So, and then, you know, I really do try to think of like just differences in eating. Like if somebody's a vegetarian, if somebody's gluten-free, if somebody's take what you want. That's kind of, tuna fish is very popular.
Oh.
I'm allergic, so
I
sorry.
am a vegetarian. I never would think that as a kid, I'm like, I mean, I remember eating it, but like, I don't realize that tuna is so popular. So when I made my list yesterday, I was like, oh shoot, I got to get more tuna fish.
I actually used to love it as a kid.
I used to love it. When did you become allergic?
Well, I would have a sore, my throat would get tingly.
Like always.
My mom would make like really great tuna fish sandwiches. And then I would be like, can I get a cup of tea with it? Because it would soothe my throat that was hurting after I ate the sandwich.
You didn't want to admit you had a problem.
Right. No, it's such a good point. I'm curious if you, like for folks who are listening, to be, I don't know, words to the wise of just like being more aware of like what's going on around them in this context, because it's so funny because we just had this conversation so much. I know I just pointed that out last week about the, helping the students to get over sort of the self-consciousness, the embarrassment or whatever, and how important that is. But I don't know, like for folks who are listening, like what are ways people can see this? Like how, like you seem to be so attuned to looking for the students who are being passed over or don't have what they need. How can other folks who maybe don't have their eyes necessarily open to this, how can people catch this and what can they do better?
I don't know that people can catch it. I'm not always the nicest person, I'll admit. Like I do get very and I know my faults. Like I do get a little bit judgmental. I do get a little bit like why are you doing it that way? Mm-hmm. But at my heart, I always want to remember, like, we do not know what people's daily lives actually look like, whether it's in, the $2 million mansion or it's in your car. Like we do not know the struggles that people are going through. So treat everybody like, we're all either having a good day or a bad day. So kind of treat everyone accordingly.
It's beautiful.
And I think just volunteering too. You start to
showing
see.
up,
So
yeah.
You do the food pantry, but at that high school, I volunteered with the closet for a year when my daughter first started there. And you really do see people there that, I think it's like erasing that stigma and making it easy to come and making it fun to shop. Like, and it's open for everyone. It's not just for certain people. Anyone can come. You get a stain on your clothes in first period, like you can come and get some pants or, get a shirt or something. And to kind of, and for the closet, kind of playing to like thrifting, like kids enjoy doing that now. And so
that's why I call it
too.
The grocery store.
Yeah.
And I put grocery bags in there. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't look like you've just been handed what we've had in stock. Like go to the grocery store and take what you need. And honestly, like there's a lot of kids that go straight to work. So like there's like super like, there's Easy Mac and there's ramen noodles and there's stuff that just like, for nothing else than kids have zero time. Like they'll have something. I don't know about your kids, but my kid comes home starving.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know I pack you a lunch like a construction worker. Like, I don't know like what you're doing with it. Like, are you selling it? But she comes home starving. Yeah, for sure. She's starving. Yeah. And we started the habit, in probably second or third grade, just because of a dance schedule of having dinner at like 3:00 or 3:30. Yeah. And then for whatever time we had car dinner. But yeah, I want to make, my whole thing is like, can you imagine not wanting somebody to eat? Yeah. Like that's crazy to me. Yeah. That's crazy to me.
And there are people who fight back against free breakfast and lunch. It's like, wild. Yeah.
And like, if I can do one thing on the planet that makes even one person's life a little bit easier, that's a good job done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, not for credit, not for anything, but just like that makes me feel better that at least I'm trying the little bit that I know how to try. But yeah, showing up, like I'll stand by the same 10 people show up for every single thing all the time. And I know we all have schedules. I know we all have children. That's why we're there. I know we all like, but the same 10 people are doing the bulk of the work. And I think the same 10 people could tell you that that kid, you know, is in crisis, or that kid is having a struggle. I will say, like, luckily for me and probably you, Steph, like, once you form a relationship with anyone and they know that you're a safe space for stuff like that, like, no kid will go without if I have anything to do with it. Like, I'm not a millionaire, but like, if a kid needs to go see a college and it costs $100 for a train ticket, a magic $100 bill will show up from, you know, whether I sourced it from myself or the community sourced it. Like, I'm a loudmouth enough to know that, like, we can get it all done when we kind of all pay attention. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's so you. You are the person that will find a way.
Oh yeah,
make
we'll.
sure,
I mean,
like,
we'll find a way.
Yeah,
we'll find a way. Mostly legal.
Let's ask a little bit about OCPS. We have a school board member here. I don't know if you
We do. We do.
We do. Where do you think the Orange County Schools is doing on these sorts of issues? Obviously, there's always, not every hole can be plugged, but, and hence the work you do and the work, so many other organizations and folks do. But I don't know, is there more on an institutional level that you think should be happening?
Oh gosh, it's so loaded. I will say my experience with leadership at OCPS, as far as like board level, I have never even gotten the courtesy of a response email from higher up.
Yeah.
I do not have any want or need or probably even opportunity, honestly, to have a normal conversation with my board member, because that's not the conversation my board member's interested in.
Yeah.
But I've never even gotten the courtesy of a response.
Yeah.
And I've gone to the town halls. I've gone to board meetings. I will say this, like, I do not like public speaking. So I am an observer at the meetings. I have not spoken up. But I just wish we could, like, stop it with the made up shit. Like, stop it with the made up problems, because the thing is like, if we just let the kids be who they are there to learn. And maybe they're not all there to learn the same way and the same subject, but, like, yes, the law says that they have to be there, but once they're 16, they can leave. They don't have to stay. But there's consequence to that. But, like, just let the kids live their lives, get an education, stop making up curriculum that is fake. Like, slavery was bad. Slavery was bad.
I think we're all in agreement.
I think we can all agree on that. Like,
yeah.
Who knows if the state of Florida will agree on that in the coming?
I know they won't. But, like, kids want to learn, and if we let the teachers and the administrators of the schools focus on the day of learning, whatever the topic may be, we could get so far. Like, they're capable of so much, and I think that the only thing we're doing with a lot of this culture war stuff is, like, making them read banned books, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, I just wish we would just focus on, like, the kids, their education, their day. Like, Florida's 50 for a reason, because we've allowed the nonsense to muddle up what the actual, like, student day looks like.
Steph, I'm curious your thoughts hearing that. Which, to be clear, Steph, you are not Elly's.
You are not my board member. I'm sure you would have responded to an email. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating when, like, you're at a town hall and on multiple occasions, and they're not even loaded questions, but they're questions that A, deserve an answer, and B, are being asked. Like, they get skipped over in that, whatever that thing is called. Oh my gosh, I'll remember it, but not at the moment.
The thought
exchange.
Yeah.
Thought exchange. Yeah. I have written 6 questions in a thought exchange at 6 different events and never gotten a response.
Oh, that's, like, does it ever come up on the screen?
No, because they can pick and choose the thought. You can see it on your phone. You can see it on the app, but they'll skip over it.
See, we were talking about this before we started the pod. That's just a level of technology that I'm just not going to engage in.
1,000,000%.
The thought exchange
Yeah.
just seems too hard for me. So when I go, I'm like, I'm just not doing that.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I honestly was able to figure out how to put a thought in, and then like rate other thoughts. But like my question, and again, it's been more than once, and then there's automatically a follow-up email of this question was asked. Really, any question asked really deserves an answer, even if the answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
Like. It deserves an answer.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I have a town hall coming up, and I'm ready to say that. Like, I'm just coming to get information and get questions, and I'm not going to know the answers to all the questions, but I'll know, okay, that's something you care about. I can find an answer and get back to you.
I'll go to your town hall because I'll probably get more answers than I do in the District 3.
Tuesday, 6 p.m.
All right, perfect. What school?
Audubon Park.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that'll be a nice one. That'll be a nice one to see.
Yeah. No, but we're just going back to the culture war thing. I think it's, it's funny. My youngest daughter, when she was in, I think, 3rd grade, had just a non-binary student in her class. And I remember asking about the student. And, Leah's like, oh, yeah, well, she was born, she was born a boy, but she just feels like she's a girl. So she wears skirts and she just plays with us. And it was like, that was it.
Because kids don't care.
It was like, okay. You know what I mean?
Kids don't care.
There's no like in-depth discussion about like, hormones or like, it's just like, yeah, she was born this way. She feels this way. So she plays with us.
Kids don't care. And kids are going to find their peer group regardless of what's going on. Like kids do not care.
Yeah.
And I like, obviously bullying takes place, and the fact like, which is so hard and like we're never going to be able to fully eliminate it. But the fact that that sort of bullying is just like reinforced by the state, that these people
1,000,000%.
right, that these kids don't belong, and for the state to be like, no, you don't get to use a bathroom, you don't get to, figure out what your gender is, like, etc. It's so deplorable.
I'm sorry, but like when I hate saying like the old lady, but I'm often the old lady in the room. But like when we were kids, if somebody was like, call me butthole, like that's what you called them. Like this is my friend butthole. Like it didn't matter. Like who cares? Who cares? Like Ron isn't Ron. Ron is Ronald. Like you're telling people I'm Ellie, but my name is Ellison. Like like who cares? How I introduce myself to you is exactly how you should refer to me. Like no, kids do not care.
Yeah.
The parents are making like, and I don't even know that it's parents. I don't even know that it's always stakeholders, but community, people. I don't go to church. It's not that, well, I don't go to church. It's not that I don't believe in things, but I don't even know that those spaces are like even mentioning this stuff. I just think like, again, COVID showed a lot of cracks, and people had a lot of time to be on the internet, and people that weren't trying to just get by day to day found a lot of time to just look up some stuff, and it's like none of this should matter to you.
Yeah. And it's also makes no sense. I mean, you don't become gay by reading a book.
No.
You don't, I don't know.
I've tried. Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Well, and someone doesn't become trans to like go into a different bathroom or like win a cross country meet. Like, do you know the anguish that people experience? It's like, it's so.
This does not make for an easy life.
Right.
Like, just like it does not make for an easy life.
Yeah.
My parents, well, this is a side story, but my parents thought I was a lesbian forever. And I was like, no, I just like, these boys are gross. So like in
all of them.
Well, pretty much
in Cocoa Beach, Florida, the 40 boys that were in my class, like those were not my people.
Yeah.
But also like, and I do think about this all the time. And my friend Elizabeth and I think about this all the time. And we talk about this all the time. We're sending these girls out to, as we, think that they're heterosexual or they're going on dates with boys, these are the people that are most likely to hurt you in your life. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like we're setting you up to go out with the enemy if you're a heterosexual girl. And the fact that like violence within the violence within the white male population is not like, that worries the shit out of me. 'Cause it's like, my kid is going to be exactly who my kid is. Whether I said differently or not, like whoever she is and whoever she wants to be, I have to understand the kid I'm raising, not the kid I think I'm raising. Yeah. But yeah, like I think about it all the time and I'm like, you're going to get in a car with a boy and just assume that he's going to be a safe driver, or like I never grew up that way. Like I'm always I'll drive. Like I'll meet you there. I believe that. Yeah, I'll meet you there because that's how my parents raised me. Like you'll drive, because you'll always know you'll have a safe ride home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I just think about Elizabeth and I talk all the time. We get to see each other next weekend, so it'll be nice. But like we're really like, I don't want to say the enemy, but like this is potentially the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think that violence most likely occurs in, just kind of what you said, in relationships in which you know the other person. It's not right.
If somebody gets murdered, somebody gets murdered, they should look at the husband first every time, and they do. Yeah. Like statistically, that's who they're looking at every time first.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe to broaden the aperture for 2 seconds is like, I think we as a society, we're having more conversations about like the reality and culpability of straight white men, and then white men got on the internet and got real angry about being called out and being seen in that way. And I think we are part of what we are experiencing is a huge backlash to talking about that reality and dealing with it.
Yeah, well, the access to information now, especially when people are hypocrites out, like who's to say the white men are I saw your public record of, domestic violence or whatever. Yeah. Like it's all out there now. Right. We can all find everything about you. Like don't pretend that we don't know. Yeah. And just because it's that one time.
And just for the white men who are listening, first of all, I'm one of you. Second, there's plenty of you that are very nice and good, and we like you.
I married a white man. His last name is White.
That's right.
I found the partner in my life that like matches me completely and like allows really like I'm sure he, if he were having a conversation with him, it'd be quiet because he doesn't say much. But like I found the person that like allows me to be me and my daughter to be my daughter.
And if you're a white man listening to this podcast and you're aggrieved, please email us podcast Extracurricular.
You can send me an email directly and just tell me that I'm wrong. But
I'm sure you'll be very nice about it if you're an aggrieved white man. Okay, Steph, what next? Where do you want to
so this just kind of has me thinking just about parents in general, and just kind of like curious your take on. No, just parents. Do we like them? No, I'm saying we like parents, but
most of them.
We talk about just our, as we have. I have a daughter who's a sophomore, daughter's a senior. You have a daughter's a junior, and they're just dealing with a lot right now.
Yes,
a lot of pressures, and so I don't know. We've had conversations about that, and I'm just like curious because you're really in the schools and you really are like talking to parents, talking to kids. Like, how do you feel about that? What are you seeing?
I mean, I only talk to the kids I talk to, but I feel like they're all under such pressure. Mm-hmm. But I think, and this is a prime example, like I would love to brag on my daughter for hours, and I probably could.
She's amazing.
But I won't, because her accomplishments are hers. So like when people like, the level of competition, and I think that financially, I think that there are people that have such a leg up on this. But like there are so many resources out there to make our kids better. But if you can't financially handle all of it, like I think we're all in just this like kind of a level playing field. Like, we're in public schools and we are not taking voucher money, and we're investing in our communities, and we're taking the opportunities we can take, and we're taking the AP classes as long as they'll be funded, and we'll do all the things that we're allowed to do. But we know that there are people out there that absolutely know how to, I don't want to say trick the system, but make the system work for their children. And whether it's monetary or whether it's time, I mean, I always think that time is money, so they do kind of correlate, but like the fact that all of these kids are like in the same pot to go for the same prize, like I just think I wish we could step back and say, let our kids be the best versions of themselves and stop the competition of like I don't know if all of it's right, but like I don't even know how to word it, but like I think that I think that if we all just let them be who they're going to be and who they naturally, like we know who we think we're raising, but they know who they are. So like let them let them lead. Like let them lead themselves in the direction they want to go. Like and if we can support them and we could, but like when we're talking to each other, and you and I have talked about this a lot, but like when we're talking to each other, like I feel like, holy crap, I'm so far behind the 8 ball, not because of you, because of other conversations in the community. You know what I mean? Like,
in fact, it's definitely not
right,
because
right,
of me.
right. Like I'm usually like, I'm so far behind, or like I'm lost. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And should I know what you're talking about? Maybe, maybe not. Like there are also professionals within the school system that I know that this is their job. This is what their job is, to get this pot of kids to where they want to go. So like I maybe I'm naive in thinking that like they're going to get there, but I think they're all going to get there. We just have to let them lead the way. All this parent stuff is crazy. It's crazy to me. I'm not a competitive person. Like I'm not a competitive person. I'm kind of like I'm a show up person, but like I'm not trying to win any race any day. Like I just want us to step back from it, and I want us to all celebrate everyone's success. Like we are going to be jealous. We're naturally going to be jealous. We're naturally going to be, we're naturally going to be envious of some things that happen. We're going to be envious of things that people have. But the fact is like, again, going back to like, we don't know what they deal with. Like maybe this is what they need. And I do think the universe puts you where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. I think at the end of the day, I think that's so true. It might not be where we think we want to be.
Oh, not at all.
But it's often where we need to be. And if it's not, that's okay, because that's just happens sometimes. Sometimes you're not exactly where you need to be, but you can get there.
Yeah.
And it's just a step along the way. But I feel a lot of that too. And I feel a lot of that pressure. I mean, I asked it as pressure on students, but I feel like there's also pressure on parents.
Oh God, I think the pressure that parents put on themselves is astronomical, and that's where I kind of stop, because I'm like, I don't have the wallet to keep up with it. I also don't have the bandwidth to keep up with it. Like if the route is community college, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy for that route for any kid that takes it. If the route is technical school, I'm going to be happy for the route that any kid takes it. Like I was trying to explain to my daughter today, like some kids, like their bills become what they have to focus on, and it, and unfortunately, like they're. When people make themselves feel badly about how long it takes to get somewhere, like that's crazy to me, because you still got there.
No, so true. Yeah, and I think just from a parent's perspective, you're right. Some people are paying thousands of dollars to essentially like get their kid into college.
Yeah.
And I asked my daughter, "Is your essay done?" And she's like, "You're micromanaging me."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I will say I did pay someone to handle the essay part, because I have one.
Yeah.
And I really like the hormonal shifts of conversation have been tough enough that I recognized that for that portion of life, that is where I will put some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and when you talk about gaming the system, it actually made me think about one of our former guests, with all love, Brady Graham, the student, and Hope, and how it's not even necessarily nefarious, but I remember talking about class rank and your thought about eliminating class rank, which we can talk about. But, he was like, oh, I'm currently in line to be valedictorian because like my brother told me to take this class and double up on this to get my GPA. So not that you were insinuating that it was in some way malicious or whatever, but it exists. It's like,
it exists. Like I didn't hear him say that, but like, if your parent is an educator, if your parent, like if you have an older sibling, if you grew up in that school, if you grew up in that school system, like, you know the routes to take. Like I always say, like, I think I did it wrong. Like, I think I did this wrong. I think I did this wrong. Especially when they were starting to possibly cut AP funding. And I'm like, oh, we're in this AP bucket, but like dual enrollment falls in that bucket also, going back to the involvement thing, it's crazy to me how many people paid attention when it started to affect their own kid.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now it's like, oh wait, we've got to go up against this every year, because a budget's not forever. A budget's just year to year.
Great point.
Yeah. Like I'm going to be excited again to see in May when people get fired up about that, because that affects probably almost everyone. But again, we only care when it affects us. But yeah, I think that kids, and even even kids know whether they have a sibling or not. Like if within friendships, if they have an older friend, they'll be like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But like, what are we missing out on when we're telling them not to do that? Like, like what if they're like a great artist and like we're telling them, don't take art.
Right. Or don't take orchestra.
Don't take
because
orchestra.
that's- yeah.
Don't, you know, only join one club because they're looking for one specific thing or like what joy are they missing when they only when they're only listening to that one? They're kind of just listening to the vacuum of like what you don't do and what you should be doing. I don't know. Class rank is weird to me, but I also thought like back in the day when they had 40 valedictorians, I was like,
weird
this
too.
is
That's
super
weird too.
weird. Like I thought number 1 was number 1, but okay,
Yeah.
number 40 is number 1. Like I
40
didn't
valedictorian sounds like a punk band, by the way.
Exactly.
We'll get to that later.
I didn't go to a large school. Like my school had 86 people in my graduating class. So, and it was a public school. We had 3 valedictorians because they had the same education from K to 12. They went back to kindergarten. And those kids were actually they were private school kids. So the 3 of them had the same GPA all the way through. And they stood up there and they did a 3-way valedictorian speech. And it was pretty funny because we lost Powder Puff that year. But then when we get here and you're like, oh yeah, he's one of, or she's one of the valedictorians. And I'm like, how does that work? But I kind of get it now that like, if we're all trying to game the system, then maybe I get it that there were 40 because it was, you know, there's somebody from say general ed, there's somebody from this group, there's somebody from this group, there's somebody from dual enrollment, there's somebody from AP. There's like, maybe I get it, but I don't understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask this, a bigger question. Do you think that when you think about that and you think about kind of gaming the system, for some people are gaming the system, some people are just trying to get through high school.
Oh,
They're just trying to
1,000,000%.
get that diploma and just get the, like, you know, just. But do you think that a big picture, our schools are helping to develop the kinds of people that we want to see in our communities? Like, are we building good humans? And if we're not, how could we be doing better?
Well,
I'm going to ask easy questions
The
only.
short answer is I think some of us are building good humans. I think some of us are building the machine to buy into the machine. I don't know that we'll know, you know, again, like we think we know who we're raising, but they know who they are. So like I have friends that like when I hear them describe their kids, I'm like, oof, that's not at all what I would have, you know, that's not my impression. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, gosh, I really did used to have such hope for the future, and now I just think like, are they buying into this stuff? Like, I think the internet's the death of human beings, but and social media especially, even though I'm on it.
Yeah, just followed you on Instagram.
Mainly to stalk. You'll never see anything really of content, and I normally don't even know how to do it when I'm doing it. So, and that's the truth. Yeah, I think the majority of us are raising good humans. I think we're going to have to see the fall before we see the rise, and that to me is very sad. Because I think we've gone so backwards in so many ways, especially with women. I don't think I'm raising a trad wife. I think I'm raising the exact opposite of that. And I hope that I am, but I'm fearful that, the community that will surround her one day, the expectation is that. Mm-hmm. Like we're raising leaders. We just have to let them lead.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. And, you know, and it's for anybody. Like, I really like 80 years old white folks, we have to step aside. We do. I just think we have to listen to people, and I think we have to let others lead.
All right, let's do...
Not that any of us are 80, but...
Well, there's some... I know we have some...
Sometimes I feel like
Getting close.
I know we have some 80-year-old listeners of the podcast.
Perfect.
So.
But like, retire, have fun, go travel, like go out to dinner at 5 o'clock. I'll be there.
Well, you'll be done
wrapping up.
because
No,
you
I'll
eat
be
at
wrapping up.
3:30.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll be wrapping up for sure. But no, yeah, like I just like, I hope we're serving them better than I feel like we're serving them.
Mm-hmm. Just like as a community, and I think to the school piece of it, you know, just you know, I do fear like the people who kind of just play the game and like don't explore other interests because, you know, I mean, it feels at the time when you're in high school that you're supposed to know what you're supposed to do with your life.
It's crazy.
But then you realize that's so you're like don't even know who you are yet. You know what I mean? You don't even know fully who you are yet.
I was not a great student. I was not like I wasn't, you know, like I wasn't a great student, but I had a pretty good idea of who I was. And that I'll credit that to my parents, but there are parts of me that like there truly are parts of me that was like when I was a kid, like my parents would have maybe pushed me harder, but I don't know what I would have done with that push, you know, because you're still a kid. But like these kids are pushing themselves, and I just wish I don't know. I want them to have joy in their lives as much as you're like you got to have straight A's and you can't do this because you know you don't have straight. I'm not mad at a B.
Right. No. Yep.
I'm not mad at a C. If you really worked for it, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
When do you get mad?
I haven't had to get mad about that yet. We just had our first grounding a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. We just had our first grounding and it lasted one day. And she did what she was supposed to. So
That's
and
great.
it's not even like it's because like at some point like you do have to listen to the adults around you as much as I say like don't listen to the man, don't be them, you know, like you do have to get things done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel that.
We want to do a rapid fire, get your take on some things. A lot of things that we've all discussed here on the pod. As a, you know, you're here as a parent. I mean, you are a human being totally.
And I'm living this life for my first time also. So I'm going to make some mistakes.
I've yet to see any.
You've missed a lot.
Okay. And some of these, I feel like we know where this is going, but we're going to just do
this is awesome.
Okay. All right. Book bans.
Stupid. Like you literally are just telling kids like, hey, go read this. If you're a kid that's at all interested in like what you're supposedly not supposed to be reading, even as an adult, like it's the second it hits the list, we do go buy it. Yeah. Because why not? Like,
and it's in every little library.
Right. Well, at one time I live on a dead end street. So I always have these like, you know, delusions that somebody's going to come down and look at anything other than the peacocks. But I always wanted to have like a little library and just like call it I'm with the band and just have only band books in there. And
that's awesome.
And I think they're dumb. I think if you want kids to read what you don't want them to read, put it on the banned list.
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble is going to have a whole section for it. So
yeah, love it. Okay. School start times.
I don't really care. I mean, I think here's the thing. Like unfortunately, we kind of all do what we're told. Yeah. So we kind of make it work. I mean, I remember, and I couldn't tell you the year. I do know it happens at some point K through 8. Like we tried it the one time where the older kids came later and it failed miserably. So it only lasted the 1 year. But like we only have so many resources. So we kind of have to fit that, especially as they get cut every single year. Like we only have so many resources. So we have to make it work how it works. Do I think the littler kids, yeah, should they probably start a little earlier because they're naturally up at 5:30 a.m.? Yeah, probably. But I had a kid that woke up at noon all the time, even when she was a baby. So I don't know. I don't know. I just think sometimes we do what we're told, and we do like when you go to the office, like would I like a later start time when I used to work a normal job? Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. But you have to get done what you can with the resources that you're allotted. So, I mean, I don't know that if there were a way to make it work for everybody, but like then you're in sports till midnight and then you're, you know, I don't know.
It's not a hill you're dying on.
Nah, not at all. I don't even know that I have an actual opinion on it. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I just think like sometimes you roll with the punches and that's one of them.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I feel like we kind of talked about this a little bit, but class rank.
I think it's weird. But maybe that depends on the kid. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think my kid will want to know. Would I have ever wanted to know? Probably not. But like, I think it's a little bit weird. I don't know that it says anything about your future. Because I think that sometimes the pressure that's put on at home. I mean, there's so many kids that burn out at the second they walk out the door. And that I do have a legitimate fear for that, for all of us, because you cannot burn the candle at both ends all the time. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's necessary to get the speech at the end at graduation. Last year's was the first graduation I've seen in a long time. But yeah, I guess that's necessary. Do I think I think it's weird. I think it's kind of weird how we get there. I mean, when we were kids, like 4.0 was what existed.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you have a 5.1? Like,
Yeah, that still makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
like what do you mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, again, that's probably not an opinion. That's probably not anything I really have an opinion on. I'm sure number 1 feels great
Yeah.
to that family. I'm sure number 2 feels horrible to that family. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure number 55 is like, man, kid, I'm glad, you know, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm sure
right.
number 600 is like, I'm glad you finished. But
Hallelujah.
truly, like,
Yeah.
there's
Right.
a there to
Yeah.
me, like some kids are climbing mountains. We don't see what's in front of them. So like, if you got to the top of that mountain, I don't really care what number you were to get there.
Okay. AI.
No opinion about it because I don't know anything about it, honestly.
And you're not going to.
And I'm not ever going to. Like, I don't chat GPT thing. I was going to call it PGT. Like, I don't engage in any of that stuff. I do think we're so susceptible to believing, like I'll even send like stupid memes or whatever, and I'll be did not fact check, but this is funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it's going to destroy the planet. I'm sure it's going to destroy the world. But we're just doing that one step at a time anyway. So it's another step.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Okay. Testing for the kids.
Again, like, you can have a straight A student that's not a great tester. You can and I heard an administrator, I'm not going to out them. I heard an administrator say, are we just trying to go through the motions, or are we trying to actually teach them the content?
Oh, yeah.
And I heard it from an administrator, and it was talking about late work and how someone doesn't expect late work. So are we just like, if a kid turns in something late but actually learn the content, like, isn't that more important? Mm-hmm. So like the same way on a test, like if I were to take the SAT or the ACT now, I'm sure I would get a 12 on both. And I'm sure that that's not good. But again, it's just that level of competition, and they all share information. Like, all these kids share the information. I mean, when we were kids, I would have never said like, I got a 4 on that. Like, I would have never said that. I would have just said I didn't do well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm going to community college anyway because that's what my parents can afford.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, pre-Bright Futures. So that's what my parents could afford. But yeah, I mean, I like that. I think it might be accidentally, but like so many schools we're looking at are test optional because, again, like I also think that tests are tricks most of the time because a lot of the answers are right. So I don't know. Is it really telling us what they know, or is it really telling us what they can perform?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to know because you're right. Some kids aren't good test takers.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, flip side, some kids are not good homework doers.
Oh,
but they're learning
but
the
they're
information and they know that
on
they,
the test.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like there's, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
like I feel like if we could just look at, like, if we just had the opportunity to look at the whole kid all the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is what but nobody has time for that. But if we could look at like the whole kid and like, holy moly, this is the best they're going to do, but we know they're capable of this. Yeah. Oof, I think we'd be better, but yeah, I don't know.
All right, I'm going back to an oldie but goodie.
Okay.
Recess.
Oh, I love it. I just think everybody needs a little bit of downtime. I know they did the connectivity day the other day. Mm-hmm. I remember my daughter was in 6th grade during COVID. We kept her home. We totally broke her. I have so many gripes with OCPS about that because the way it was sold was not the way that it was actually worked at home. Mm-hmm. I lost my mind more than one time. And I felt badly for the educators, but I also was like, I'm the principal of this institution because this is where my child is at home, and she can go to the bathroom and eat whatever she wants whenever she wants. I don't care. But I think 7th grade year, when I realized my kid never even saw sunlight, she never walked outside of the building. I was like, this is insane. Like, you never walk outside and get fresh air. And I just like, I guess we have the benefit at our high school that they walk from class to class outside. But like just seeing kids be kids, I think that we would realize like even if they're 17, like they're still kids. And like how fun is it when they get to be kids? Like I'll hear words I don't understand. I'll see things that I think are weird. I'll be like, I would not have done that, but like they probably wouldn't do things I would do. But like I just think we never let kids be kids anymore. They're, I don't know. I think it'd be cool if we could get it, but
Yeah. Oh, like for up
for
to
everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. No,
like if there was
yeah.
a 10-minute like break in the day where if they could just stretch and just be outside and like go talk to their friends, and like back in our day we would have passed notes or whatever. Like
Oh,
but
I
just
love
like
that.
just like 10 minutes to be yourself and not be part of the machine. Like, ugh. I used to love watching Recess and just the dumb stuff. Like, we're doing the hugging game. Like, what's the hugging game? We just hug each other. Okay. Like, that seems fun. That was one cool thing about like being involved like K through 5.
Yeah.
Like, I would always kind of set up my day to like mimic either lunch or recess because the conversations they're having are incredible. And like, just the way that they build community, because you know, you go to recess with your class, but you get to be with everybody else. And like the way that they're building their own little communities within that community, I just used to love that. But alas, they're big now.
Yeah. Well,
So you and I, it seems like, I don't think we've gone like band by band, but share a lot of bands and tastes in music. So I'm curious how music, and you're an artist as well?
I am not.
Oh, but
I cannot draw a straight line. I come from a family of not artistic people. My husband and my daughter are very artistic. My husband is an incredible artist, like kind of all around. Like, and he's you know, musically talented. He's artistically talented. He tattooed for 25 years. Like, it's not that, you know, it's not the art that people are like, oh, that's so respectable. Especially like 25 years ago. But like, my kid is such a great writer. And when I see that stuff, I'm like, oh man, I'm so, like, that's the stuff I'm jealous of.
So I'm curious, I'd love to hear about your appreciation for art and music and how that's influenced your politics and activism.
Okay. So this is going to sound so stupid. When I was a kid, and I was growing up in like punk and hardcore and going to shows, and I talked about my friend Elizabeth. Like
some bands, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh gosh, I would have died for the band Split Lip. Like I literally probably would have laid on train tracks. Everything was very circumstantial. Like Elliot, the band Elliot, Falling Forward. Gosh. There were people that, like, Ken Olden was super influential to me. He's a music producer now, I think. But like I just remember going to shows, and like I recognized that I was a feminist long before I think feminism was a thing, maybe for like younger people. And again, my parents thought I was a lesbian because I was a feminist, and I was like, well, they're pretty closely related, but no, it's not the same. But I remember like always thinking like punk and hardcore was so empowering to women. And then when I was in it, like looking back at it, you know, gosh, 30 years later, I'm like, we were called coat racks. Like we were just there to like hold people's sweatshirts, and we weren't there to be part of it. And then like when we're in bands and when we're doing things, like we were just there to like be cute or be like, I am not skinny now. I was so skinny, and I wore the largest clothes because I just wanted to I wanted to hide my body because I wanted to be part of this community that I thought had my back. Like there were bands that had like end sexism shirts, and then you're literally like, oh, you're just trying to talk to that girl so you can get whatever you can out of it. And like it was just like looking back, you're like, oh, we weren't very protected in that. And now seeing what hardcore has become, like, I'm not interested in it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I have no interest in that, like the machismo, I guess, of all of it. But if you listen to the lyrics of so many bands, and you can even go like more mainstream, like Rage Against the Machine, and you know, I don't think we're actually hearing the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we're actually listening to what they're saying. But this is how I actually started in activism. Is my mother and my father, we lived in very rural Illinois, and the gas company, the power company, was trying to like raise the rates during the 80s when farmers had no money. And I remember getting strawberry pie every time we would go to these like town hall meetings. And I remember my mother speaking at all of those town hall meetings. And then when I was a kid, Roe v. Wade was very protected, but walking onto clinic lines wasn't. So I started doing clinic defending at an abortion clinic called Aware Woman, because no one is there having their best day. But I remember like all of those times like kind of converged on one another. So, I mean, probably the biggest queen in my life would have been Sinead O'Connor. And even when she spoke out against the Catholic Church, we see how she was treated. Mm-hmm. But she was right.
Yeah.
Like if we were just listening to people, like they were right. Like if we listen to the lyrics of some song, like they're right. Like, but we're stealing from campaigns that are completely opposite of what Born in the USA is not a, it's not really a great song for, being born in the USA. But yeah, the activism part, like animal rights were always a huge thing when I was a kid. And like, I always kind of moved it to women's rights because it aligned with my belief in feminism and women empowerment. And I mean, I can't believe we've stepped so far back.
Yeah.
Like truthfully, like that was 1990. Let me think. 1992 is when I started clinic defending, and I still do it, but you can't even get an abortion. So like that's bananas to me. Yeah. And the craziest is like over time, just speaking of like clinic defending, like over time, like, it's a surgical procedure, people are a little bit loopy when they walk out, but like now they could, 2 years ago, they could just walk out with a bag. And I'm like, oh man, this is so awesome. You get to go home and like, just be like, have a normal life. But yeah, I mean, looking back on my experience in punk, like I'll still go to shows, but I kind of just observe it for what it is and love the music for what it is.
Yeah.
And, Greg Dooley from the Afghan Wigs can do no wrong in my book, although he's done a lot wrong. I'll listen to anything he says. But yeah, I remember thinking back, thinking like, man, they really didn't have any value for us then, and we really thought we were part of it. And looking back, I don't know that I was 100% part of it.
That's heartbreaking, but also feels very real. And the insidious nature of misogyny and the patriarchy, that even when we're singing about, equality and treating women well, it's like, how are we faking it so we can sleep with women and treat them like shit and not give them any real voice or say? And like most of the bands that I loved were all fronted by, white men and all very homogenous. I like to think that I've broadened my horizons a bit now, but do you listen to War on Women?
I love War on Women.
Oh, yeah.
So much. And I love how outspoken she is about just like all the safe spaces. And actually they had played at the Plaza here a couple years ago, and I bought her book, and Lou went and had it signed, and I went to go speak. I went to go speak for my child, and she was like, nope, let her talk. And I was like, you're right. Like my mistake.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. People should check out War on Women. Incredible hardcore band, but also like it is like very melodic, and it's not, when people I think who maybe are less familiar just think hardcore, like people screaming like
that first album is so freaking good.
Yeah. They're great musicians, very talented and fun to listen to. Okay. Thank you for indulging me.
Thank you guys so much.
Well, I think Steph has one more.
Yeah. Well, no, actually I kind of have a follow-up. So punk rock, I feel like you had a different experience. I feel like it really motivated you or kind of made you more aware politically.
Oh, totally. And that's not to say it didn't.
I'm not saying it didn't make me, it just made me realize like we're not all on the same page.
Which is like so insightful.
We're not all fighting the same fight.
Yeah.
Like we're not all fighting the same fight. And I can't guarantee, I can't guarantee that Scott's experience was 100% different than mine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's still like the king of Orlando when it comes to like, oh, hey, Scott likes you. But yeah, like we just had different experiences. And even sometimes my experience with him, it was like, am I here to see him or am I here to see the band? Like, I don't know.
Wait, so what was his band?
Oh, he's been in a lot. Drag Body would have been during those years.
Okay.
And then he was in a band, Rail Splitter. and then, well, I might have it wrong. And then 6 Dead Horses. He's doing a new thing now.
40 valedictorians.
40 valedictorians, yeah. That's mine.
There I am, erasing women yet again.
Yeah, that's what. No. But yeah, he was always in bands. And I guess if somebody has a type, like that would be my type. Like I always liked boys in bands. but
not boy bands.
No. I accidentally did go to an NSYNC concert though. I was taken in a limousine, told I was going to a birthday party, and happened to be NSYNC at the arena when the arena was the arena. And it was one of the funniest nights of my life because I was like, this is not where I thought we were going for someone's 21st birthday. Yeah. But yeah, my experience, I mean, like I listen to the words and I understand what, you know.
Yeah.
You also have to think like a lot of those bands now, especially, like they've got so much money that you're like, is your message still the same?
Yeah.
Are you a little bit are you a little bit capitalist now? Who knows?
Well, this has been talked about before, but I know when I was listening to a lot of punk rock and for you, I'm sure the same, like selling out
was horrible.
Was a thing. And now that just like doesn't exist.
But also I was always like selling out is like, that gets to be their job.
Yeah.
Like who are you, like, what are you really selling out? Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's that you're right. It is this interesting dichotomy because I think as adults, we now are like, well, yeah, you should be able to make money from your art, and that's great that you can do that. But also when I was young, it was like, oh, you signed to a major label. I mean, a lot of people in these scenes felt this way. Like, okay, you're not as cool, you're not as like, you're just in it for money, and it's like, oh well, like actually making money is a nice thing.
Well, but like seeing Green Day for $5 was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's very. I've never seen Green Day. It's like when I was actually just listening to them earlier.
That was
today.
they weren't even my favorite,
Yeah.
but they were my friend Christy Robbins' favorite. So I would go, but like the grossest, sweatiest I've ever been was at the station in Fern Park, and it was literally raining sweat just because it was so hot in there. And it was, I mean, the smell, some of those smells are just so like visceral that you're like, I remember it. I was actually talking to a friend, and I was like, yeah, the second Lollapalooza. And like, how crazy is that? The second of something but like selling out meant like you just made it more accessible for so many other people.
Yeah.
And now the internet's crazy. So
Yeah, exactly.
I can't keep up with bands now. I literally listen to the same stuff all the time.
Same.
Yeah.
All right, Steph, final question.
Oh, so my
Final
last
question.
question is, as a realtor,
Okay.
what's happening with the housing market? Do we buy a house now? Do we wait to buy a house?
I mean, do I like to have groceries? Yes.
Buy a house.
do
Buy
I
many
think-
houses.
Do I think it's going to get better? I think certain markets will get better. I think certain markets will stay close to the same. And I think it always has to do with geography. I think that my take for everyone, and this is a lot of times for first-time home buyers, if you are okay with your decision for 5 to 10 years, the time to do it is when you're ready to do it. Because we're always going to miss out on something. Like if I could have bought my house 5 times over when I bought it, you know, based on somebody else's loss, truly, like I would have done that. But at the time, it's what I was given. So I think you just have to play like, am I here for 10 years? Okay, I'm here for 10 years. I have to be happy here for 10 years. 5 years is really when you continue to make money. Per our conversation earlier, do I think everybody gets to deserve $200,000 after 5 years of ownership? I don't necessarily believe that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that a lot of people in the market right now, buying or selling, I don't think that prices, I don't think that we're ever going to see this tank because people that aren't looking for houses don't realize how hard it is to actually borrow $1 now. Like it's so hard to borrow money, and the hoops people have to go through, and
Steph won't even give me $5.
right,
It's messed up.
Right. But like, and I will never in my life will I say only. Like something is only, you know, $500,000 or something is only. Like it's crazy to me that $500,000 is a starter home for a lot of people. This is another piece where like we just have to support our kids because like they're going into something that is like completely, our parents got a really huge benefit of like, yeah, they had low wages, but everything else was priced really low. Now we have low wages and everything is priced really high. So including education, including housing, including freaking a dozen eggs. I know we talked about eggs and, you know, we heard about eggs and milk and how prices were going to go down. I don't know that they have. But yeah, like, I think that if you're okay with your decision for a 5 to 10 year commitment, and I think most of us are moving for 5 to 10 year commitments, I think that everybody's going to be all right.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to, that's a good ending.
Thank you folks for listening to our real estate podcast.
Yes.
Hey,
We'll talk more about the market next week.
Everything.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll talk more about the market next week. We'll see what happens.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for
Thank
taking
you guys
time
so
on
much.
your weekend to come over.
I'm sorry
here.
I yap so much.
No,
it's perfect.
We need content. This is what the internet is built on: is people yapping.
There will never be a moment of quiet. That's the unfortunate truth of myself.
Well, we're so grateful for it. This was so fun. I'm glad we got to make it happen.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.